I'm Logan Webb, and you're listening to TortureCast.
Swinging. There's a high drive. Deep into left center field. It's on its way. Adios! Pelota!
Let's go Giants! SF Giants! Let's go Giants! SF Giants!
A grand slam for Buster Posey's good friend.
A podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Chad King, Eric Nathanson, and Willie Dills. This is the Torture Cast.
It's Thursday, April 2nd, 2026, and this is episode 334 of the TortureCast, a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host, Chad King, and we're here to talk about the first week of baseball for the San Francisco Giants. We got some mixed results in here. With me to talk about it is Eric Nathanson. How you doing, Eric?
I feel about as lethargic as the Giants' offense. This is like early morning for me. Because I work nights, so I sleep until noon, 1 o'clock usually, and we're recording, early afternoon on Thursday. And I'm the one who threw the timeout, so I have nobody to blame but myself. But I'm feeling quite a bit lethargic, much like the Giants' offense.
Hey, everybody, it's 12:30 Pacific. I'm just saying. Anyway, also joining us is Willie Dills. How you doing, man?
I not lethargic, but the Giants offense, you nailed that one. It's been rough to watch so far, and after spring and the WBC, so far the first week a little bit of a letdown, but some signs of life, and we'll talk about that. But other than that, good, doing fine.
Yeah, the Giants obviously started out a little bit worse than the way it ended. They went 2-4 for the week. They got swept by the Yankees, and we'll talk a little bit about the Yankees series, of course, because you guys haven't had a chance to chime in. But we are trying a new edition, kind of a little extra content this year. And when we're not doing this regular podcast, we're going to be doing series recaps. And so that's what I did with the first series. Boy, what a joy that was to recap.
Yeah, we were all very excited about it. And then it was like, oh, and now you actually have to sit down and talk about getting swept.
It was like, hey, Chad, let's go recap this pile of turd here. Like this, It was horrible. Yeah, they scored 1 run. But anyway, so that's up if you guys want to listen to that. And, of course, we'll be doing that with the Mets and maybe the Phillies, and we'll talk about that later. But they took 2-3 in San Diego. Unfortunately, they did win the first 2 games and kind of holding our breath to see if they could complete the sweep. They didn't, but you know what? It was Tony Vitello's first MLB win, his first MLB series win, and his first road win. So everything kind of worked out there, and they're sitting down here at 2-4. The Dodgers started out 3-0, but now they're 4-2. So everything's kind of evening out. We don't have to talk about the standings quite yet. It's a little early to talk about that.
No. I will say this though: the West not starting hot, pretty much across the board. I mean, the Dodgers losing 2, that was a little bit of a surprise too. And there was a moment after whatever, I can't remember what game it was, but somebody posted this in the Reddit. There was one win across the entire West or something like that. I think the Dodgers were the only ones who win. Yeah.
Outside of the Dodgers, the rest of the West at one point were 1-11.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's good. It's good news for the Giants in the sense of if they're not going to win the West, but they want to get a wild card. Hey, there you go.
This was part of my prediction at the beginning for the preseason episode where I said the West doesn't look as strong to me as it has in the past, outside of the Dodgers anyway. So I do think there's a strong possibility the Giants could, if we can figure out how to hit the ball, make a move into second spot, So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I admit the Padres, I don't think they're going to be as good as maybe in years past. But yeah, they didn't look that good this week. I'll be honest with you. I was like, Giants are taking care of these guys fairly easily in the first 2 games. Well, we'll talk about game 1. It wasn't really easy at the end. But yesterday was also kind of a shit show defensively, and there were some interesting things that happened. So, the first game, they go out, score 4 runs. They're up 4-0. It's looking like it's going to be a lock. But Walker comes in. Sorry, was it 3 runs? It was 3 runs. I think I said 4. Yeah, it was 3. Sorry, I typo here. It was 3 runs in the first game. Walker came in, walked the very first guy, leadoff guy, eventually allowed a home run. Suddenly it's 3-2. He eventually locked it down. But these are the things that are concerning, especially after I'm not pining for Camilo Duvall. I am not. But
No.
it was just kind of a slap in the face when Duvall comes in the Yankees series in the 8th inning and strikes out the side. It was just like, oof, yikes. We could use that guy.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a interesting decision that he was the first initial closer, but then the next time, like we had the 9th inning, I guess there was a differential in the runs or whatever. We didn't go like I don't think we're going back to him. I don't think he is like the 100% closer. I think a lot of people in like the subreddits and the Facebook groups and stuff were like, "Why is he the closer?" I'm like, I just don't think he is. I think Vitello's got to try out several different guys. Mm-hmm. And there's some guys in the bullpen who definitely look sharper. That's for sure. I mean, Wynn looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So there's some options out there until we get Rodriguez back. So I don't. For all you naysayers and doomers out there, I don't think he is our 100% closer. But I hope I'm right about that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I hope you're right because we don't really have an indication either way. If his plan is to stick with Walker or try different people out. I mean, it was interesting when we finally got to see the Giants in Monday's game have some bullpen management. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the whole Yankees series, none of Tony V's bullpen moves mattered. They were always playing from behind. They were always playing catch-up. And so it was interesting to see how apparently Wynn is setting up as the 8th inning guy right now. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Walker, it was ugly with Walker. I hate how, just about every time he pitches, Kruko's got to go into, with the way he has that cross step and, his arm angle. So it's tough to keep that up. And all I can think is then why is this guy the one closing the game if he's got the hardest repeatable, I can't whatever.
His delivery is the hardest to actually be consistent. That he shouldn't be the guy you rely on, right? Like that's
right.
You're 100% correct. You need a guy where when he comes in the 9th inning, even if he doesn't have his A stuff, he can at least get outs and not walk people, right? And not give up dongs. Like that's what you need out of a closer, not some guy who potentially could be lights out, but sometimes can't find the strike zone. I mean, we got lucky in his one save. Because Tatis, the second strike should not have been a strike, and I think that settled him down. Like he was nowhere near the zone. Then he gets a gift from the umpire, which for whatever reason Tatis did not challenge, and then that kind of got him back into a little bit of a groove where he was able to get Tatis out. And then at that point, it's like, okay, you give up 2, that's fine. He got through it, but yeah, sketchy the whole time.
Yeah, I really long for the days the Giants. I mean, most teams are kind of looking for that guy too, because it just seems like closers are so ephemeral. Even the ones that are lockdown closers, aside from generational talents like Trevor Hoffman or Mariano Rivera, guys, even when they're good for like a couple years on average, if not less. And so it just seems like most teams just have to cycle through the next best guy, and the Giants just lately have not found that guy. And Walker, he's had flashes in the past, but I agree with you guys that his mechanics are just a little funky, and I think that lends itself to not being as repeatable or things that can go awry, more links in the chain. You have more problem points, right? So that develops the inconsistency, the location misses, the walks, and then, a couple of meatballs that get jacked out. And it's frustrating. So on that note, given the current roster, I mean, are you inclined to maybe throw out Keaton Wynn on occasion in a save situation? Or like, who do you guys think?
I mean, I think we can go closer by committee for right now. We do have effective lefties and righties, so I think it depends on who's coming up. I think Wynn is your best option as a right-hander. We've also got Miller and Gage when it comes to lefties. So I don't know, man. I would hate to see Vitello just be a lock-in, this is my guy type of manager, especially since he's young and he should have the modern way of thinking about these kind of things. I would love to see him be like, look, we're just going to put out the guy who has the best numbers for that situation. And Walker might be him every now and then, but we are not just going to chuck this guy out there every single time we have a 3 or less run lead. That would just be silly to me. So
I think we can safely say that certain guys like Brubaker, Baraki, and Buto, I did not expect them to be all bees.
I was like, did you plan that?
Yeah, the killer bees, baby.
The killer bees in the bullpen.
We can safely assume none of those guys are being considered for the 9th inning. They've all already been shown to be the long man or the mop-up guy or anything like that. And I mean, Buto absolutely fell apart yesterday. Yeah. And Vitello had to bring in another pitcher, which was just not what you want to do in the 9th inning of a getaway day when you're in day 3 of having 11 straight days of games, 10 straight days of games. So it was kind of a shit show. So I would think Killian is going to get his opportunities as well. He's looked okay in the few moments we've gotten to see him. So I think if there's a committee, Win, Killian, Gage, Miller, Walker is definitely the pool they're pulling from.
Those are the guys, that you could. And I think in the modern game it makes sense unless you have Diaz, right? Unless you're the Dodgers who are like turning the lights out and bringing out a trumpet player. It's like if you're not that,
that guy's amazing.
Yeah, if you're not that, Mason Miller, thank you. If you're not that, if you're not throwing 103 miles an hour, then just treat it like another inning where you just look at your guys, who's available, who's rested, who's throwing the ball well at the moment. I mean, talk to your bullpen coach and ask them, how does he look? Don't bring a guy in just because you already warmed him up. I hate this way of thinking where it's like, well, he got up, so we're gonna throw him in no matter what. And it's like he might not have his stuff that day.
Sure.
And this is that we do these bullpen games nowadays. We've adjusted our thinking to this level. If you don't have that guy, and the Giants historically have really not had that guy, like you said, for long stints, right? Like think about the big Giants closer names that we've had in the past, right? Like Nen and
Beck.
Beck. Oh my God, let's go all the way back. But these guys were flashes in the pan. You know what I mean? Like we haven't had a guy for 7 years. Do you know what I mean? So
those are so rare.
Yeah, that just doesn't really happen in baseball anymore. And I think it's okay. It's okay to just look at your situation day to day and say, this is the guy who's got it today. This is the guy who hasn't pitched in 3 or 4 days. He's rested. He's got his best stuff. And just play it by ear. I don't see what's wrong with that. Until you get Rodriguez back, obviously, because then that is your guy. That is the guy right now for us.
Oh, yeah. Given a healthy Rodriguez, I would say he would be the number one choice right now. But obviously he's not coming back till at least after the All-Star break, if not later than that.
This also might not be a problem because we do have to have a lead in the 9th inning.
Yeah, right.
Matter at all.
I think whoever's going to be closing is probably going to be fairly well rested because, not many of those same situations are coming. Speaking of which, Tony Vitello, being rookie manager, first one to jump from the college ranks, he does have a little bit of pressure on him. Not like he's, commanding the Yankees or Dodgers or anything like that right now. But, we've already seen some, I won't call them problems, but little interesting. And, I'm talking about the Yankees series where he kind of divulged a little bit of extra information from the clubhouse that managers maybe don't particularly do, like the pep talk, like the pastry thing, like whatever. And I know reporters will pick up on that, and then the reporters go back and ask players, and then it kind of makes the news cycle, and it probably becomes bigger than what it really is. But you have, that managing of the closer right now, all these little things. And then kind of tying into what happened yesterday, might as well just jump to it right now. But Giants had, shaky defense yesterday, and that kind of contributed to a couple of unearned runs early in the game. And in particular, there was an error in the first inning, an error, I think it was in the 4th or 5th, in which Chapman had to fire across the diamond. Now, in my personal view, they weren't perfect throws, but they're balls that most likely a normal first baseman is going to catch. And Schmidt missed both of them. And then, of course, the cameras zoom into their little mound meeting, and you have Matt Chapman glaring straight at Casey Schmidt as he walks up to the mound, and he repeats it twice. Catch the fucking ball. catch the fucking ball. And that made big news. Of course, they went to the clubhouse after, and I have the quotes here. We'll get to that in a little bit later. But what I find interesting is, yes, I agree that Schmidt probably should have caught both, even if he had to come off the bag, because that's better than letting the ball go by you. But one of the errors was attributed to each player during the game. But this morning, did you guys read that? The Schmidt error was changed to a Chapman error. So now both errors are on Chapman in the stat book. So I find that interesting that the scorekeepers have now put the blame on Chapman.
I find it interesting that Casey Schmidt ever became our daily first baseman. It's a little odd to me. It's fine. Obviously, we don't have necessarily a better option right now, but I don't know. I think Devers makes that catch, right?
If only there was a really tall first baseman built like a redwood.
Maybe a lefty. I don't know.
I'm just spitballing here. Like that.
I'm vaguely remembering a guy we saw in Arizona last year make his debut, I think.
He wouldn't have had to stretch.
You don't miss that ball. That's for sure.
Right. Well, I mean, Schmidt's still, relatively new to first base. And on the second one specifically, he made the mistake of lunging forward instead of letting the ball get deeper on him. Yep. And, even if Eldridge had lunged forward, his glove would have been 6 inches higher. So
but it
would
like
have made a difference.
It looked like, exactly. Like he had made a decision about what he was going to do before the throw was actually coming, which that's just not the right instincts for a first baseman. You're supposed to be ready and adjust to what the throw is, right? Because he didn't have to lunge forward. He would have been out. The guy would have been out if he just stood there and just tippy-toed up. You know what I mean? Instead, he did the thing where he kind of got into like a little stretch and tried to come forward to shave a little bit of time off of the throw.
Yeah.
That's just a guy who doesn't play a lot of first base to me.
Yeah, Schmidt said he stretched too early, and he owned both mistakes. He was fully on it. And the only reason he's playing, as we all know, like Devers has a hamstring issue. But what's interesting is I've been watching this guy motor and run out infield hits and score from second base. The guy looks fine. Like, how is he cleared to sprint around the bases, but he can't play first base? I don't understand it. As a person who myself have played first base a lot of my lifetime, I tell you what, your hamstring's a lot more important for running around the bases than it is for playing first base. I don't get it. Yeah,
you don't blow out a hammy, digging one out of the dirt as much as you do rounding first base. It is bizarre to me, but I will say this. I think you brought up the stuff with Vitello kind of opening up more than maybe most managers do. And he might learn this because he hasn't had to deal with like a media circus and people who have to write a story every single day.
Yeah.
The Chapman yelling, catch the fucking ball at Schmidt. I guarantee you in the dugout and stuff, they probably went right past that and on to the next thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this is a sign of like these two guys don't like each other. It's like you're in the moment in a game and you're a veteran and you've got a young guy. You feel comfortable being like, hey, bro, catch the fucking ball. That
how many times like we've never played professional baseball, but when I played baseball, made mistakes all the time. Other people made mistakes all the time. None of us had qualms coming up to them and go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shape up, man. Get your head on.
That's totally normal.
Why did you throw it over there? Why'd you throw it to second instead of third? What the hell are you thinking, dude? Yeah, we do that all the time.
If you can't take that, you don't get to the big leagues. I'm sorry.
No,
so I'm sure those two guys are fine. They were probably playing cards after the game. They're probably chilling. They probably went to dinner. Like, this is just what, we have to talk about because this is the stuff that we have to talk about, right? Yeah. But when I look at that, there's no part of me that goes, "Oh no, the chemistry is not the way it was last year." No, this is normal ass stuff. So, I want our third baseman, who Chapman is kind of the captain of the infield. I know usually it's the shortstop, right? But I think on our team, when you got 7 Gold Gloves or what does he have, 5, something like that, he's the captain, right? So he's the guy who's going to be like, "Hey, man, catch the fucking ball." And I'm sure Schmidt was like, "You're right. I will try."
Hear the quotes post game. There's more than this, but Chapman said, "We're all brothers here. Heat of the moment. I've already talked to Casey. It's all good. I figured that people would try and make that a big deal. He knew. But it's baseball. Stuff happens. We all learn from it. We'll move on. I already told him it was kind of the heat of the moment. I was just wanting to get those outs. It happens. And then Schmidt also said, we're trying to win games. I'm not mad about it or anything. It's baseball. Those are things I should have done and didn't. At the end of the day, we wake up tomorrow, we play another game, and we get back at it. We're trying to win games. That's the bottom line. Sometimes things happen. I just messed up. We just move forward. I mean, I agree. I mean, these are just things we have to talk about it because it happened. It's in the news cycle. And, I wondered how that, Vitello was fine because he said those guys have worked it out or whatever. So I think Vitello's handling it just fine. But I think these are the little things a rookie manager who's already gotten a little pushback, not only from like the clubhouse stuff he divulged in the Yankees series, but remember in spring training, he started to talk, like no one asked him, and he started to talk about the Tennessee stuff again. And he seemed really bitter about how that news broke before he signed. And that kind of went, people are like, why are you talking about this? Like, you must be pissed that someone leaked this. You know what I mean? So he just seems to be maybe tipping his pitches a little bit more than a rookie manager should. So maybe he'll start learning, kind of a little bit. And this is one of those learning lessons where he's like, hey, look, these are two Major League Baseball players and a veteran here. I can let them handle it. It's fine. It's all good.
I mean, at Tennessee, there's probably media, right? But it's not daily, every single day. Give me a story. And then multiple articles and a bunch of stuff on the internet. Anyway, go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Yeah, the biggest piece of advice anybody could give Tony V at this moment is shut the fuck up. Stop talking. You don't need to take a 15-20 second answer and turn it into a minute and a half. Just answer the questions. It's quite all right to say things like, as you're reading off the Schmidt quote and he says, we're trying to win games. I'm like, oh my God, how many times a year do these guys say that exact phrase? Probably every day, multiple times a day.
One day at a time.
That, Tony. Right? Just do that crap, Tony. Do that. You don't need to feed the beast anything. He talks way too much for my liking. That's my biggest gripe with him so far. Is the more he talks, the more he sounds like he may be in over his head. And I'm not saying that he is. We're 6 games into the season. We got a long way to go to understand it. But the indications from the way he's acting so far haven't been the most positive. And so I really hope that he can settle in and navigate. I hope that these other coaches can rally around him and he can lean on them and get a little bit better at this. But the biggest thing that Tony needs to do is just shut up and manage. And I'm sorry, I'm not pulling the shut up and dribble. It's just for his own sanity, for the team, for not having stories written about it. Just chill out, answer the questions, don't expand too much. And you would hope guys like Ron Washington and Jace Tingler would teach him a little bit to not necessarily divulge as much as he is. Even Buster was great at giving canned answers, but sounding like they were interesting.
Yeah,
I think that'll happen. I think he's just a chill dude who hasn't been burned yet. You know what I mean? And at some point, a writer's going to write something that's going to really piss him off. And he's going to be like, you know what? I'm just not going to talk to that guy anymore. You know what I mean? And when that guy asks the question, my answer is going to be, well, we're just trying to do our best and God willing, and you see the answers. Both of those guys said it's baseball. Like, it's clearly like these guys have been a little bit more media trained than Vitello has. So I don't think he's in over his head. I think he's just new to it. Yeah. And he's yet to be burned. It's like when you have your first relationship when you're a kid and you're just like, oh my God, girls are the best. I trust them so much with everything. And then one day I would get burned and you go, maybe I should have my guard up a tiny bit.
Yeah, I trust the media. I'm going to talk about all my deepest, darkest baseball secrets with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
these are my new best friends. That's just kind of that's not the case. These guys are going to write about everything and they're going to make a lot of assumptions. And when it hits the spin cycle, suddenly now it's on Reddit, suddenly it's on Twitter. And by the way, I don't know if he does, I know he's a younger guy. He should not have Twitter. He should not have Reddit. He should not have any of these things. Get off of all of it. Just be in your office working on depth charts and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, cut it all off. And you're right, Eric. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's interesting because on a personal note, like let's just imagine a scenario which you knew Tony Vitello personally, and you could call him once a week. You'd love all this stuff. You'd love to know what's going on in the clubhouse. And in fact, just on a personal note, I like a manager that's more willing to talk about stuff that other managers aren't willing to talk about, because I find it interesting. It's a peek behind the curtain, right? But when it does a disservice to the team because of the media exposure and the backlash that it can create, then as a fan, I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. Basically, it's kind of a weird catch-22. It's like, I want to hear more personally. I love it. But for the good of the team, just let's not do this.
Yeah, think about Bochy, think about Melvin, think about like Dusty Baker. Like, do these guys ever really have like oversharing moments? But then you had like Kapler. I was gonna say
Kapler did.
Like, I was like, hey, buddy. Yeah, but again, like the younger side of it. You know what I mean? Like more of the new school. I think this just might be. These guys grew up more in the era of oversharing and having social media and things like that.
Sure.
The other guys are a little more. Everything is behind closed doors. We don't talk about any of this shit.
Nope.
So, I think you have to find that healthy balance between the two, because you are right, Chad. When we go into the clubhouse after the game and the manager's giving his press conference, it kind of sucks when everyone's asking these dumb questions. Because first of all, a lot of sorry media guys, a lot of you guys ask the same ass questions, and they're not that interesting. And then a lot of the managers give these same ass answers that aren't very interesting. So it is refreshing when a manager comes out with a little bit of openness and gives you more into their actual thought process. But there's a limit to that, right? You don't have to share the emotions and things like that. Talk about the baseball defense.
On a side note, little tangent here. I agree. I mean, there's so many times you either watch it live or when we were in the clubhouse or in the media room, and just the dumbest asked questions are asked. And you're like, what is going on? Yesterday, you had the launch of the Artemis 2, and that's the 10-day mission with 4 astronauts to take a round trip around the moon, right? So I was watching the press conference, and they had the director of NASA and like a team of like 4 scientists and their communications person who was introducing everyone. And it was, this big panel and this graphics behind him. It was all formal, and the media room was full of reporters, and the communications lady is introducing herself, introducing everybody on the panel, and, some nice, this is a historic mission, or, going back to the moon, da-da-da-da-da. And now I'm going to bring it, give it over to the director, and we'll start taking questions. Yes, you up in front. So they zoom into this guy up front, and he must be like freaking 75 years old. He's got like a jacket with all these patches all over it, right? He's all, hi, Bradley from some insert name you've never heard of media outlet. What is the astronaut's first meal going to be? What?
That's what we all
question. The first question is, what are they eating their first meal? Like, that's the kind of level that sometimes you hear in these press conferences. You're like, dude, who are you and why are you here? Boy,
that's like a child question, dude. That
exactly.
Is like a little kid when you find out about Tang and astronaut ice cream and how cool it is. No, when you're an adult. I want to know, about what the trajectory is and how they planned on this, and when are we going to have people land on the moon again? But
So I was like, what are they going to eat? I was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Anyway, it's Vitello's going to be learning on the job. We all know this. This is a new world for him, so he may know a lot about baseball, but he might have a lot to learn about media and being media savvy. So we'll see how that develops over time. Speaking of which, we had the Yankees game, that first game, you get all the pomp and circumstance and the flyover and the national anthem and Netflix screwing up the early part of the broadcast with their graphics. And then the Giants just lay an egg, and suddenly it's 5-0 and then 7-0. And, Logan Webb, he gave up like 6 straight hitters got on base at one point. I think that was the second inning when they scored 5. And then even his second game against the Padres, yes, he got the win and he settled down, but 3 runs really early. So he's given up 9 runs in 11 innings. I haven't read anything or had any indications that something's off. People have said his velocity is fine, his spin rate's the same. I guess location is certainly going to be an issue right now, or has been an issue. Have you guys picked up on anything, or do you think it's just a little blur? Because this is only the 3rd time in 118 starts he's given up 6 earned runs or more. So it's a rare occasion for our number one ace. Do you guys have any concerns about him?
Visually, he looks okay to me. Like for the eye test, got movement on all of his stuff. He seems to be mixing it in and out. It's possible the league has adjusted to him after this long in the majors, and he needs to adjust back. It's possible that the WBC meant his his season prep wasn't the same as usual, and he needs to adjust to that. But I haven't seen anything that scares me. I mean, the Yankees have a good lineup, right? The Padres technically have a pretty good lineup. These guys hit him. He was able to fight through it. He's always had a first inning issue throughout his career, right? Where he struggles a little bit early on and then he usually settles in. So hopefully that's just the pattern and it's all fine. But I don't know, Eric, visually, I haven't noticed anything.
No, there's nothing mechanically going on with him that is really noticeable. The game against the Padres, though, he just usually when Webb gets beat, he leaves balls in the middle of the zone and he'll get hit hard, which I think the Yankees did more than the Padres. In the Padres game, he was just flat out missing the zone consistently. He just could not find he must not have felt a good release point. I heard Fleming when I was on radio a little bit. Yeah, he said that it looks like he's trying to stay away from his changeup, which he's still used 24% of the time so far this year. But it just nothing looked mechanical. Who knows if it was just he ramped everything up for WBC, and then the season came, and yeah, there's an intensity to it, but it's a different intensity, and he just hasn't found it yet. But it was nice to see him fight through that because the bullpen was warming in that third inning against the Padres, and to have them, sit back down and have him come out and have like the fifth inning that he had where he just struck out the side before the sixth inning was a nice. They sent him back out there with almost 100 pitches, so that tells me that they don't see something wrong either. That they just know he was fighting through his stuff that day, and he got three pretty quick outs in that last inning that he was sent out there. And so it's just Logan Webb, just not finding it yet. Early season type stuff, I think, is all we can chalk this up to. We've seen some pitchers lock in real good early, and we've seen some pitchers, struggle with it. And the walks is really what, to me, is the indication that he hasn't found his stuff yet. But, I mean, everything's the same. The motion's the same. His situations are the same. He's just not getting the job done as consistently as he was. But again, that fifth and sixth inning really showed something after he kind of fell apart in the third inning the other day. Right. So I don't think it's anything to be worried about.
I think Logan Webb too is one of those pitchers who he tends to get stronger as the season goes on when his arm gets a little more dead. When his arm is too live, it's hard for him to locate in the zone. And he's got so much movement on all of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen this in years past where it's like once he gets past the All-Star break, is just so consistent at that point. So I don't know. Logan Webb is the guy I'm not really concerned about, even if he hasn't started great.
Yeah, Eric, you brought that up during the first game. He doesn't have a high walk total, has great strikeout numbers. He always gets ahead of the count. And like you said, the Yankees just attacked him early in the count. Anything that was in the good zone, they didn't wait. They just pounced. And, you're right, the Padres game, he had 4 walks, I believe. He was just inconsistent and missing the zone a lot. So hopefully those are just 2 things, he's going to work on. The Yankees lineup, you look at that, and it's almost an all-star lineup. So yeah, we'll kind of reserve judgment for now. It's just 2 starts, and it was promising to see him kind of calm down and look stronger at the end of the Padres outing he had. And he still got the win on that one because, of course, the Giants go out and actually score 9 runs that game. So it was the opposite of what normally happens to Logan Webb because he is the second coming of Matt Cain in those situations, it seems like.
He did not get caned.
He did not get caned. He got reverse caned, really. Gave it 3 runs and got the win. So
like I said, no, he's not the guy I'm concerned about. There are other guys, and I think you're about to bring him up that I am concerned about.
Well, look, just a few of the lowlights that come up, and everything's always magnified kind of in the beginning of the season. I mean, you got Aaron Judge hitting a $125. I was looking at the leaders today and reversed them for like batting average and strikeouts. There's a lot of superstars out there that are doing much worse than some of the Giants. So again, early stats are, if you go 2 for 26 in July, it's a blip. People are like, oh, what is he doing? Oh yeah, he's had a bad week. When you start the season, everyone's like, oh, because like in New York, like Bo Bichette is getting relentlessly booed by Mets fans. Destroyed. And part of that is it's New York. I get it. But it's like, holy crap, dude. He's had 22 at-bats. Like, what's going on here? There aren't even, Aaron Judge is certainly not getting booed in New York. That's a different story, of course. But you got, Elliot Ramos. He's got 10 Ks and 22 at-bats. You only have 3 Giants hitting above 200 right now. Luis Ariz at 304, which is to be expected. Willie Adames, he had a 4-hit game the other day, raised his average to 250, and then Devers is hanging around 227, and everyone else is under 200.
Fortunate.
It is, yeah. The team batting average is 201. Everyone, we're at the Mendoza line, 26th in the majors. Giants are dead last in runs scored at 14, but two teams at the top at 45. Like, oh my God, that's insane. I think, as evidenced from the 4-3 game and when they beat the Padres with Logan Webb, their team ERA of 3.74 is 11th. WHIP is also 11th. Batting average against is 12th. So they're kind of just above average in pitching right now. So otherwise they'd be 1-5 or 0-6 right now. I don't know. It just seems like every year it's the same tune, guys. Like, it's pitching's fine, if not their strength. But the hitting it's always shitty. It's just always goddamn shitty. And it's like, want to see them starting out with something better than this.
Hitting is streaky, pitching is generally not. So it is nice to know that this is where the Giants, I think, will kind of land, is I think the top 10 pitching staff. But it's guys on base, and then the inning just falls flat on its face. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it feels like that's happening again. The game we scored a lot of runs, 16 hits. I mean, it feels like in a game like that, maybe you should have double-digit runs, So even in that game, we've still had a little bit of a struggle getting guys in. It's rallies. We're not going to hit up a lot of 3-run bombs. By the way, we did not talk about this at the preseason episode, which maybe we should have added this kind of thing. Who's going to hit the first home run on the team? Who's going to get the first win? Who's going to get the first save? These are kind of the funny things. I would have not guessed Bader.
No,
but Chappie's hit one,
and Adames
hit one, Bader's
that's
hit
it.
one. That's it, man. Like
3 bombs. Yep.
We're not.
I wouldn't even call them
rely.
bombs.
Yeah.
No, none of them. It barely got out, dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Bader's was pretty good.
Exactly.
Bader's
He's the only
good.
one off the map. I was like, oh, that's gone. Chapman hit one a literal mile in the air, and it barely scraped over the wall. And I believe Adames has bounced off the top of the wall.
Yeah, hit the top of the wall.
And so
down the line.
They really
yeah.
Both of
So we
those,
need to-
Chapman and Adames, down the line.
We need to take walks. We need to have productive outs. We need to get guys over. We're in sack flies. Like this team is going to have to scrap for some of these runs. I think we're not going to be putting together a lot of crooked innings. So we need to take advantage of those moments when you get, second and third and one out. Like you got to get one of those guys in. And I think that's going to be our biggest issue is consistency in that respect. The 2-out hits. Well, where are they at, Eric?
They're nowhere. The weird thing is there's a bit of consistency to it because, okay, I thought maybe talking too much was my only gripe with Tony V. Here comes another one. Literally nobody has taken a pinch hit at bat this season. We've had a pinch runner, Oliva come in twice, and we've had Susak. Koss, I believe, got to take a pinch hit. Either way, not even a pinch hit. He was inserted in the game. So, no, he didn't hit.
It wasn't a pinch hit.
Right, and Susak's name did not come up yesterday after he got in the game. Where's the bench? Is this a result of the fact that the Giants have an all right-handed bench, and so there's really no mixing and matching late in games?
Right.
You can't send that. The majority of bullpen arms are going to be right-handed. You'd like to think that you'd want to have a lefty or two on the bench to at least counteract that. And, even days off, somebody like a Bryce Eldridge. I just don't understand why none of the bench players have been getting, after 3 games, Tony shifts the whole lineup around. But he didn't change who played. He just changed where they played in the lineup. And literally nobody else is taking at bats. Great. It's fun to watch Oliva, steal a base and then advance to third. But, we're not going to get to see that often if all he ever does is pinch run. And I get it. Bader's good in center field. He's got speed. Lee's good in right field. He's got speed. So Oliva doesn't need to end up out there. But you got a guy like Ramos struggling, 10 Ks and 22 at-bats. Give Gerard an at-bat. Give Oliva a shot at it. Casey Schmidt, he's looked good at times, but, maybe Christian Koss can take an at-bat for him one of these times. I don't understand why he hasn't used the bench at all. And I'm wondering if tonight against the Mets is the first time we see somebody like Susac start in place of one of the regular starters. But it's got to be kind of rare to go through 6 games, have the exact same guys take every at bat and never have a pinch hit. This has got to be a big outlier.
You scored 14 runs, right, or whatever. So, yeah, You're right. Like at some point, you got to give somebody a shot here. But no, I mean, I think 100%. If Devers can't literally play first base for whatever reason, then you can't pinch hit, right? Because then you have nobody to play first base. So, I do think it's maybe time to alter this roster just a tiny bit, and let's just have one lefty on the bench, please, because 100% in late game scenarios you're down by 1 or 2. Now we haven't really been in that situation yet, but it will come up. It will come up eventually. You're gonna want to have a guy you can put in and have at least the thought that he's going to be able to get a big knock to turn the game around for you. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating to watch this team right now, but I don't know. It's like it's too early to be a doomer. It's also not too late to address these concerns. Do you know what I mean? It's like I hate always being like, well, it's too early to blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, but it's 6 games. I've watched nothing really happen. So it's okay to make adjustments, right? Like, imagine if this was like a World Series and you just didn't make adjustments after 6 games.
Right.
That would be pretty damn silly.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 major leaguers that have out-homered the Giants. Shea Langeliers from the A's and Chase DeLauder. He's got 4. Shea's got 5, and then 10 other players have hit 3. So this will be their. We'll address this in the next regular podcast to see if the Giants have surpassed any individual players in total home runs. That would be a goal. I think.
What do we think about Arraya's batting cleanup? By the way, how do we feel about that one?
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
Now here's the thing: we did score 9 runs that day when he did.
True.
But that was so weird to me. I was like, huh? I just remember seeing that lineup, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. But okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that thinking has changed, right? Like Devers would have never hit second in the 80s, right?
No.
Never. No, not the 90s either. Not the early 2000s. Like, we know we moved people up in the lineup, right? You never have Shohei batting cleanup in any team ever in the history of baseball, but you want him to hit as many times as possible. So I understand the thinking has changed. The thinking around hitting 4th, though, I don't know. I don't know if that's changed that much. To put a slap hitter who never hits home runs into the 4th spot.
Yeah, that still doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, you're right. They scored 9, so something worked that day. But I don't think it was him batting 4th. That was not the key.
Adames going
result.
4 for 5, I think, was the thing that worked that day. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So only the Tigers have hit fewer home runs than the Giants right now. And the Tigers, I'm sure, are going to out-homer the Giants. It's 1 week. What are you going to do? Pitcher of the week. I mean, I'd say for the starters, definitely Landon Roop. He had a great start,
Sure.
6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks. He's the guy that, we've seen this before, these little flashes of brilliance, these occasional starts where he just looks unhittable, and then, he'll go give up 6 runs in his next start. So maybe there's some hope, maybe he'll start off on the right foot this time and be one of their stronger starters. But that was nice to see. And then Keaton, like we talked about earlier, looked pretty strong in the bullpen. His stuff is pretty solid right now. So I kind of put them as pitchers of the week. I didn't really put hitter of the week because who do they have?
I mean, Adames. Adames is probably our
the
guy who's had a
still hitting
game, right?
250. Player of the week, hitter of the week.
That game was sick. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm starting to think, should we worry about a rise? I mean, he's already struck out twice this season. That's twice 25 plate appearances. That's 1 every 12 and a half plate appearance. Last year, he only struck out 21 times in 675 plate appearances.
No, he's on pace for, like 60 something. Yeah.
That was an average of 1 in every 32 plate appearances.
Yeah,
that's 20 fewer plate appearances. What is wrong with a rise? Obviously, the sarcasm.
He hit 2 home runs in the WBC, and now he thinks he can just do that now. So
I was looking at his Baseball Savant page, and he has 0 barrels this year so far, but he's hitting 302. I love it.
That's what he does.
That's what he does,
But
man.
Yeah, you get a guy like Bader who the first pitch after he homers, you can see him literally trying to hit it out of the stadium.
Oh yeah,
on his next at bat.
Lift and separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh, and he swung through it so hard, you thought he hurt himself. Arise though. Now, I mean, it's tongue in cheek. It's just funny though that the Giants' disease of striking out kind of infected Arise a little bit. 2 strikeouts in a week. I mean,
Woo,
last year he averaged less than a strikeout a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not trying to be considered. It's just it's fun because, like you said, he still puts the ball in play all the time.
No, he's the guy. He's the guy who's always gonna he doesn't go on like slumps in the same way that other guys do, right? Because he's just gonna keep putting the bat on the ball. Can I real quick bring something up though? And that was the Braves walk-off grand slam featuring Yaz and Dom Smith.
And Dom Smith.
That was kind of fun to watch, but also a little hurt my heart.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just like, that's a guy that we could use right now in this very moment in time. I don't think he was necessarily like the move to make, right? I mean, the writing was on the wall, but in this particular moment in time, it would be nice to have him, don't you think? It'd be nice to have a Dom Smith be able to play first base, and maybe Koss is your only backup, or Schmidt, send one of those guys down. Anyway, just something to think about. He's also a lefty.
No, it was a pinch hit, grand slam, won the game, and it was pretty cool to see because it's like, number one, it wasn't against the Giants. It doesn't play for the Dodgers, right? So, so you kind of pull for him. It's like, hey, look at that, former Giant. But yeah, it's like one of those guys. You're like, man, I know he's like right at 100 in terms of like his runs created and all that stuff. So he's basically an average player. But we could use an average player.
He is the above replacement. He is the replacement you were talking about.
Yeah.
But he's a solid Major League Baseball player. It's good to see. It's good to see Yaz and him clearly having a good time on the Braves. They've kind of got a little bit of an aura going for them right now. They've been have some cool stuff going. But it was just a little sad though. I was like, watching them hug with a different uniform on.
I know. It's just kind of like, what are you gonna do? All right. As we kind of wrap it up here, I did want to bring up, and we'll bring it up occasionally throughout the year. But we had the first week of baseball, so we had the first week of the official ABS system, and we saw it in the spring, so we kind of got a preview for it right now. But I tell you what, guys, I haven't been in the stadium yet watching ABS happen, but it is fun watching the highlights of how crowds around the league have been reacting to ABS calls. And to me, they feel like a mini game within the game, and you get this like collective anticipation built up over like 10 seconds in the audience or in the crowd, and then you'll see the call get overturned or not, and you see the crowd react. I don't know. I'm having a heck of a fun time watching these highlights. And, no offense, Eric, being a former umpire, but I'm having some fun watching some of these arrogant umpires get their comeuppance. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying.
Finally get put in their place, man.
And Angel Hernandez, God rest his soul. No, he's not dead. But CB Bucknor, though, like he's been, again, one of those guys who's been around for a long time, and he's just a surly old guy who he's not very good relative to the rest of the Major League umpires. And he's had a bad week, guys. Have you seen what's been happening to him? It's been insane.
He had 20 wrong calls in a game, and then he got smashed in the face with a foul ball. I mean, listen, I will say, I think there's two positions in this world that should not be filled by decrepit old people, and that's politicians and Major League umpires. I think we gotta have term limits when it comes to these positions in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want young eyes, I want exuberance, and I don't want a guy who's like, I'm not going to listen to you because I've been around longer than you have been alive type of mentality. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And ABS has also had a couple of other interesting, I guess you could say, side effects. And that is that apparently it has shrunken the zone for hitters. Like, hitters are being a lot more selective now. So there's some weird stuff that's just, it's going to affect how baseball is played. And we're seeing the first week of it. I got to say, it is fun. So far, it's very fun. John Boy videos are real good these days.
Yeah, right. There, Chad, you nailed it. There's that quick little buildup of anticipation and inside of everybody as we wait to see what the call is and whether or not it'll be overturned. And then the release, from the crowd when they start roaring when it goes their team's way. It's really added a new tweak to the game. Baseball, if anything, has done a good job of being self-reflective the last few years and willing to tweak some things. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. CB Bucknor, though, let me tell you, from an umpire's perspective, he doesn't position himself correctly behind the plate. There's a spot you're supposed to be in called the slot, and it's pretty much over the shoulder of the catcher on the inside corner of the side the batter is on. So if it's a left-handed batter, you're on that side of the plate slightly. If it's a right-handed batter, you're on that side of the plate slightly. And CB seems to be almost right over the top of the catcher, which tells me how the hell can you even see the entire zone? If that's the case, the catcher's in the way.
The zone from there, that's for sure.
Right. And the second thing is his footwork. He has his legs spread one in front of the other. It's called the scissor, with the way he's set up. And the way they teach you in umpire school, and even we're talking 22 years ago when I went, so this is not like some brand new revelation on the field of umpiring, is you got to be in a different position. Your legs have to be shoulder. You're trying to get your knees and your shoulders lined up so that you're in a certain position in the slot, and then you lock in your mechanics with where one hand is and where the other hand is, and it gives you the best view of it. And he doesn't do either of those things. And so he's setting himself up for failure, which, it's going to flush him out. He's going to be one of these guys. I think if anything, ABS will do a good job of flushing out some of these umpires that shouldn't be around anymore. And I'm totally okay with that.
That is fine.
It's really,
I think,
yeah.
That's another side effect. That's great.
It's fun to watch. Like I think it was yesterday's Giants game or maybe 2 days ago. There were not very many challenges. Like Fermin lost one, and that was the only challenge. And it was because the umpire was doing a hell of a job. Every borderline pitch, he seemed to be calling in the right way. So I think it also highlights those guys, and you kind of now notice if there's not challenges. Yeah. Challenges stick out as, wait, you're not doing your job. So, CB's just the prime example of that, but we'll see a couple other older guys, I think, flush out earlier than they used to. ABS, it can do nothing but change the game in a good way.
Yeah,
I have a question for umpires, by the way, Eric, that you might be able to answer.
What's that?
I understand putting your hand on the catcher's back is like a common thing, right? But why don't they tuck the other arm behind their back? Why is that? They just let it hang right out there in a very exposed position. I'm like, why are more umpires not having like their forearms getting broken by like
it should ball? Really be tucked. It should really be tucked at about waist high, but you're still kind of exposed with the best way that I was taught the proper technique. Putting the arm behind your back, you can even feel it when you do it yourself. You're turning your body slightly.
Oh, I see.
So you're not as square with the plate. And an umpire's chest protector, it only goes down to a little bit over the stomach. It's designed that so when you crouch, it kind of helps cover it up, and you just got to stay square with the plate to be the same. Like when I was a young umpire, I turned my head on a fastball that a catcher missed, and it nailed me right in the ear. And after that, I fully understood. All my equipment's in front.
Yeah.
This is the stuff designed to protect me. So even if I take it off the face mask, even if I take it off the face mask, it's better than taking it off the side of the head and dying from a baseball to your temple. And so that's kind of why they have to keep the front arm in the off arm in front, the one that's not the left arm, basically.
It's interesting to watch because I'm like, I can see when you see that arm and there's nothing on it, there's nothing protecting it. I'm like, man, if a foul ball just ticks right off that thing and hits you square, that is just going to shatter your forearm, right?
It's very rare though that the ball just has that trajectory without the catcher getting in the way of it. I can think back again to all my years. I took one off the elbow one year, exactly what you're talking about. It was a foul tip on a fastball that went straight into my elbow, and I got a deep bone bruise from it. So that exactly is going to happen from time to time. But just because of the placement of everything, that's why they kind of can leave their arm exposed. It's got to come off a very specific way. But
All right. Well, I
CB
prefer that
Buckner's
they get the
a
call
shit
right
show.
than protect their forearms.
Exactly.
All right, I'm all for it.
Exactly. one forearm shatter in 5 years is worth having good strike calls.
It's gonna happen. All right.
Well, all right, just really quickly. So this week, he missed those 20 goals in the one game. The 6 were overturned. He had the 2 in a row. Oh God, what's his face? But anyway, he just got showed up consistently that game. And later in the game, there was a
Suarez. You hated Suarez.
Yeah, because it was back-to-back strikeout calls that were both reversed, and he ended up grounding out that at bat, but it wasn't a strikeout. And then later, there was a check swing. He didn't even appeal to first. He just called the batter out, and they showed the replay. He clearly checked his swing. So it's like not even that he got the call wrong. He didn't even appeal to first. And a lot of people think because it was later in the game that he was just pissed. He was surly, and he's like, screw you all. I'm not going to do it. Then you fast forward to the Milwaukee game a couple of nights ago, and you had a ground ball. He was doing first at the time. You had a ground ball down first that was an overthrow. The runner comes back to first. The players who had the ball back tag him. Bucknor calls him out. And they're like, why? And he's like, the runner never touched first. Therefore, when he came back, he didn't turn into the baseline, but when he came back, they tagged him, and therefore he's out. So, of course, they appeal it. Not only did the runner clearly touch the very center of the bag as he ran through first base. There wasn't like one of those, like, did his toe touch it? It was like right on top of the bag. They show CB Bucknor isn't even looking at the play. He's looking in a completely different direction. And I mean, he was ridiculed by the managers. One of them even said, I really look forward to CB doing the plate tomorrow. He's become just, the new poster child he's a replacement for Angel Hernandez basically right now.
Yeah.
But I'm like trying to understand. It's one thing when you get a call wrong at home plate. Okay, he thinks it's a strike, it's not, vice versa. Why on a play like that where not only the guy touches the base, but you didn't see it anyway because you weren't looking at it, why would you make that shit up? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. It seemed the easier way is like, oh crap, I missed that call. Well, I'm going to assume 99.9999% of runners actually touch the bag. Why wouldn't they? I'm just going to assume that, he touched the bag, comes back, and no one would even know. No one would even know I missed it.
Yeah.
But he calls him out, which then opens the replay, shows him on the base safe, and shows CB Bucknor not even looking at the play. Like, he exposed himself for no reason there. And I'm trying to understand, what was the motivation there? I honestly, it's like, is that where dementia's coming in? Is that where, like, what's going on?
I think he called him out to specifically trigger the replay. Now, I am not saying that this was the right move. I think he totally blew that entire sequence, but I think he wanted to trigger the replay. And he wanted to have it looked at so that he could be absolved for not looking at the play. When you umpire, you're taught to think that the ball is on a string attached to your chest. So whichever way the ball goes, you follow that string. And he clearly followed the ball as
he followed the ball.
Flew past the first baseman, and he watched it towards the catcher. But you're also taught that you have to quickly look for the touch, no touch situation at the base. That you have to be able to see both things at once in a sense. Just know the timing. As a major league umpire, you got to know the timing of when the player is going to cross the bag. We all have that clock in our head. Infielders, runners, umpires have it too. And he just totally kicked it. And I think his reasoning for calling the guy out was to trigger the replay to make sure that the call was made correctly. It just made him look like an idiot, and I don't think that was the right way to go about it.
No.
It seemed like he asked the other umpires, did you see him touch the base? Did you see him touch the base? And none of them knew, which I don't blame them, because all of them are connected by a string to the ball facing where the ball was going. They weren't looking at first base to see if anybody touched it.
Yeah, it's not that
We can all remember the Galarraga 28
perfect game. Yeah.
Where it's like, as an umpire, like, these are the decisions that we've seen made where you're like, that doesn't make any sense why you would do that in that scenario. And I do understand these are human beings making split-second decisions in the moment, but you are right. It's like, you could err on the side of, I'm pretty sure that the guy touched the base, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is a major league ball player who's run to first a billion times. Like, how often does he?
Why did he even fathom that the guy didn't touch the base?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like he turned towards second base.
That's my question.
Right? I mean,
I don't understand.
It doesn't make
very
any
weird.
sense.
It's very weird.
So anyway,
But,
he wraps up his bad week. He had to leave yesterday's game. He got smashed in the face with a foul ball. So that just kind of capped off his shitty week for CB Bucknor.
He's in the wrong position. His
man.
mechanics are shit.
So,
CB, retire.
If anyone is interested, I urge them to check out Baseball Savant. They do have an ABS section on their website, and boy, can you dive into the stats. So, yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, my God. You can look at individual team rates of turnover, fielders, batters, et cetera, et cetera. You can go into the weeds. But overall, 55% of calls have been overturned. 343 attempts, 189 have been overturned. If you break that down, batters have overturned it 52% of the time. Fielders, that's pitchers and catchers, have overturned it 58% of the time. But man, there are some really, really cool things in here. Just for the Giants, they've only had 3 challenges as hitters. They've been right 2 of the times. That's 67%. And they've had 5 challenges as a pitcher or catcher, and they've been right 3 of those times, meaning they've overturned 60% of their calls. So, but the leaders are the Twins, man. The Twins are 9 of 12 for batting and 7 of 10 for fielding. So Twins have it dialed in right now. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, Derek Shelton's like, screw it. We're going to be challenging fools. Let's go, boys.
Let's
Did
go.
you hear about Did you guys hear about the Brewers situation where they were basically telling the batter if it's okay to challenge during this at bat?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the baseball had to come in and be like, nope, not cool. Which I do understand, but also like you knew these teams were going to min-max how this ABS system works, right? I mean, this is
absolutely
at the professional level. Like you're gonna like tell the batter before they even go up to the plate, hey, it's okay to use a challenge here in this scenario, right? And you can't stop like a sign from coming in from the third base coach or something that is like, feel free to use it here. You know what I mean?
So I
like,
think that's what's going to happen because it was spring training.
Yeah.
The Brewers busted out a green card. The green
They were
card
holding
would be,
a card up, yeah.
Yeah, would be exposed to the batter every single pitch because think of it like a blackjack grid, you know, where like when you're supposed to hit and not hit. So this is a whole table of all the possible count situations, runners on base, inning, score, everything. And it basically has a range of runs created in that position, right?
Sure.
So the counts and all the situations that have the highest runs created in the positions, wherever that flip mark was, which who knows where the Brewers were, whenever it flipped to green, that's when they would show it. Their metrics would show it. And so I think it was fantastic. It makes a lot of sense. And you're right, Major League Baseball said, no. It has to be an unassisted challenge. No one else can help you. But I totally agree with you, Willie. I mean, this isn't going to be the Astros banging on trash cans, but I do think that teams are going to be well smart enough, if not half the teams have already implemented it, where they're going to have a quick relay to, like you said, someone in the dugout or someone or the third base coach himself, and it'll be an extra sign. It'll be just something like, you can challenge this if you want. You can challenge the next pitch if you want.
You tip your cap, like you touch the tip of your cap or something every time it's okay. You just don't do it during your sign. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah. And honestly, I don't look at this as any form of cheating. I look at this as just, like I said, min-maxing. This is telling the guy, like, you don't do it on a 0-0 count. You don't do it on a 1-0 count. Even if it's an egregious missed call, right? Yeah. If it's, 2-1, 0-2, 3-1, like these are the times when you might use it. Catchers need to know this kind of stuff too. Eventually these players are just going to kind of know it. Like, do we call it cheating when like a guy has a little cheat sheet in his cap or in his back pocket where they should be in the field?
Absolutely not. Exactly.
No. So what the hell is different about this?
They're just playing numbers. It's just numbers. Yeah.
The birds are here, man. You're not going to stop them.
And every team can do it.
Yep. Watching the Padres, you can tell, though, they've had discussions because there were many pitches earlier in games in not 2-strike counts where you could see the Padres hitter kind of turn towards the umpire and you could see him like shake his head like, oh, man, I wish I could challenge that here. It seemed to come across to me watching this last series that the Padres specifically are one of those teams that have told their hitters not to challenge unless it's this situation, that situation, this situation. Because you can tell they get frustrated. They're like, "Oh man, I wish I could challenge here."
Right.
Before they go,
maybe it got in their head.
Yeah, before they go up to the plate, I'm sure somebody says like, 2-1 or later, something like that. Even if that's all it is,
right?
Like it's just here it is. Don't use it unless we get to here. Obviously, like there's going to be other factors too, like how many do we have left? If you still have 2 of them, it's the 9th inning. You could burn one a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
If you only have one and it's the 5th inning, you got to be a lot more cautious. So you better wait until it's actually.
And teams have run out of challenges. That's happened already, where they didn't have it for the 8th and 9th inning, and then they're screwed. Did you see the situation the other day? The only situation, even if you have challenges left, that you cannot challenge a pitch. Did you guys see that?
I saw there was one where the umpire refused to acknowledge it, but I didn't know why.
On a throw for the steal. Yeah, on a throw for the steal, I believe.
No, it's a specific situation.
That what it was?
It's when a position player is pitching. You cannot challenge pitches.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
That one.
Screw that. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I just think that's funny because one of the guys came in through like a 47 mile an hour, lob ball, and it was a foot above the zone, and the umpire calls it a strike, and the batter steps back and taps his helmet, and the umpire goes, "Nope." Nope. And he's like, "Oh."
I saw there was one situation an umpire refused it, but the reasoning he used was it has to be the first motion you make, essentially. Like you can't take your bat, mess with it for a second, and then go, you know what, actually, like you can't think about it for a second. You have to just instantly be like, this is what I want to do. So, but also umpires can kind of use that to be like, I know I'm going to be wrong here, so I'm just not going to let you do it. I'm going to say that you did something else first. Which is a little interesting, but we'll see how it all plays out. So far, it's been working really well.
I love it so far. And unrelated to the ABS, there was a guy the other day, I think he was a Red Sox. He struck out, and then no one realized he struck out, and then he walked later because no one realized the count. That was hilarious. He had 4 strikes. Yeah. Anyway, it's funny how even they can mess it up. Like both teams, the umpire, everyone missed it. Even the broadcasters were like, I guess we missed a ball there or missed a strike there. So anyway, pretty good stuff. I actually have enjoyed ABS a lot more than I thought. And I think it's a healthy dose. I think, like we said in the season preview, it's like it's 2. And yeah, it could turn into 10 if you're right all the time. But it's healthy, and it's going to ensure that you get the call correctly in crucial situations. Not every time. You can't challenge every pitch. So I like it so far. That's what we want.
We all look back on the Galarraga 28 outs, and we're like, we wish we could have had replay back then.
Yeah, replay would have saved his ass there.
That sucks balls. And, now we've gotten to the point. Now, there is always the counter argument, which I've heard my friend Max bring up many times, where, in the modern era of replay and like football and stuff, like a guy scores a touchdown and you have this, and then you find out it was overturned. It's like, oh, that moment we just had is now taken away. That kind of sucks, but I would still rather have it be right than miss out on a celebratory moment I got to have. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I do not want that feeling ever again of losing a game that we should not have lost because of a call getting called wrong. Nobody's there to watch the umpires. They're there to watch baseball.
Nope. But it's been entertaining so far. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Torture Cast. Coming up, the Giants start with a series at home. See if we can get their first home win at Oracle Park tonight. They got 4 against the Mets, and then 3 against the Phillies before they go back on the road for a 9-game road trip. So I know, Willie, you have tickets next week, right, for the Phillies?
Yeah, I'm going Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday next week for the Phillies. So looking forward to that. So I'll try to do something fun with it. Maybe get some. I know I can't go into the press box, but maybe I can go. Maybe I can go say hi to some of my old friends over there.
Must be a lonely place now.
They showed Chisholm, by the way, on TV when they were in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't realize this. Maybe Chad, you've talked to him more than I have. He started as an intern for the Giants.
Yep, he did. He started.
That's pretty
as
cool,
an intern.
man.
Yeah, he's been
Love
with them.
that. Maybe that's why he understands a little more our plight.
I think he obviously likes us,
Yeah, I think he's getting instructions from somebody else, and he's
he is. No, he told us as much, and he said, if it ever clears up, we're the top of the list to go back in. But he just doesn't have control over it, and it's just. Nope. It's unfortunate, someone at top, they probably got pissed about something that someone did, or who knows? No, not us. It's probably inside baseball stuff. He said, had more to do with like too many people applying. They had to process so many applications, and it became a paperwork burden. I'm like, I don't know if I fully buy that, but it is what it is. So
I could see that, but also we already have the affiliate number, so
yeah, I know. Well, they still got to process the individual requests, so that's the problem.
Whatever.
But All right. Well, that'll do it for us for episode 334. We'll be back probably in a week to do 335. In the meantime, I think we will have a series recap for the Mets series. So I don't know, Willie, Eric, one of you got to do that one. So we'll see who does
I'm on it.
All right,
I'm
Willie.
on it. Well,
Willie
hold on. Maybe I should do the Phillies one because I'm going to one of those games.
Because you're going there.
Yeah.
That's
what do you
fine
think,
with me.
Eric? Are you down to take the Mets one?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to learn how to actually, do some technical stuff here.
Literally
finally.
all you have to do.
Dude, no.
Do you have
yeah.
an iPhone? Do you have an iPhone?
No, that's the problem. I'm back on an Android.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. If you have any sort of app that can record your voice, like a voice memo app, which I'm sure there is one on Android.
Oh, yeah.
All you'll have to do is just talk into it for a while and then
send
just
it to me.
that Chad, and he'll be able to
Yep.
splice it up however need be.
I'll do it up.
All right. Well, then I will definitely be talking Mets Giants sometime Sunday.
There you go. Love
All
it.
right. And if you didn't check out our series recap with the Yankees, I did tack on the one of the new intros for that, created by Willie Dills, and then tacked on a song he created at the end. So check that out. Some cool stuff. And we got some different versions, and I'm sure I actually played around with that too. I made a 90s rap one. It was actually pretty good.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys. I'm having issues with it's not pronouncing all the names, so I have to do phonetic stuff, But
you do have to, if you have to type in, if I remember I had to type in, it was something like I think it was I did MGA, and I was just writing MGA for a song I was making, and I had to type in EM dash G.
Oh yeah,
G GEE. AYE, you had to do that for it to actually get it right.
I'm gay. Oh wait,
there's a learning curve there. You'll figure it out, Chad.
Anyway, it's fun. It's actually really fun to do it. So that's cool. All right, well that'll do it for Willie, for Eric, for myself, Chad. I'm at ChadK21. Eric's at 2outhits with the number 2. You can email us at torchcast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us at Torchcast and find everything at torchcast.com. So we'll be back for a series recap this weekend and then back later for episode 335. Until then, win your goddamn first home game, Giants. Go Giants. A boom.
Catch the fucking ball.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.